Okay, so taking a look at number 5 on the Unit 4 Day 5 assignments. So, because it's written in this way where it's e to the 2x minus 3e to the x plus 2, this is actually essentially a quadratic. So, just some little side notes here. E to the 2x is really the same thing as just having e to the x squared. Okay, so that's like having e to the x squared. So let's think about a different type of problem that will look more familiar to you, and then we'll compare it to this. So, okay, if we were to just change e to the x's to x here. So because we just said e to the x squared, this would be the same thing as just writing x squared. Minus, this is 3e to the x, so instead of e to the x, I'm just going to put an x, plus 2 equals 0. Okay, so all I did is I rewrote this problem as a quadratic. Everywhere there was e to the x, I just changed it to x. So here is a quadratic where you could just factor. So if we were to factor this, we would look for two numbers that multiply to 2 and add to negative 3. So that would be negative 2 and negative 1. So because this was easy factoring, there wasn't a number out front, you could just make your two factors as x minus 2 and x minus 1. So that's the same exact thing that you're doing over here. This is your x squared term, this is your x term, this is just your number. So you're just looking for two numbers that multiply to 2 and add to negative 3, which we said were negative 2 and negative 1. So instead of putting x minus 2 and x minus 1, it's e to the x minus 2 times e to the x minus 1. Okay, so this is just like a comparison to show you like where this comes from. So then, if you split this up into two different problems, we have e to the x minus 2 equals 0, and e to the x minus 1 equals 0. If we solve the left one, we would add the 2 over, so e to the x equals 2. To get rid of e, you do ln on both sides, because the opposite of e is ln. So ln and e would cancel here, and you would have x equals ln of 2. If you didn't have a calculator, that would be perfectly fine, or if you type it in your calculator, it'll give you 0.693. So either answer here works. Okay, over on the right side, if you add 1, we'll have e to the x equals 1. To get rid of e, we're going to do the ln on both sides. So ln and e will cancel. We'll just have x equals, and ln of 1 is 0. So you have two answers here for this problem.